Hello there. My name is Christian Tejeda. If you haven't watched videos previously, please check some out. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. I get caught up rambling, but I want to talk about ego. And I was like jotting a bunch of stuff down in my notes about it, just because it's been something that's been on my mind. And I think the internet does a large majority of people that have social media know justice. And I think there's this misconception about growth and how it's intertwined with like self-image. And I'm learning a lot about this because it's something I struggle with myself sometimes, and like humbling myself and trying to dial down my ego so that way I can grow in the best way possible. And I have some examples of this with like my Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, daily interactions, any of these things. I think that there's a plethora of ways that you can kind of get caught up in this trap of, oh, I'm the shit, or however you want to go about it. But I want to start with my first point. You see, I'm sorry if I get super lost in thought. It's Monday. I think this is a good day to upload this. I think so. So please bear with me. We're gonna go through this though. So, ego. The pretend. Telling yourself a lie. There's been a lot of situations in my life where I think I tried to manipulate a situation or just an area of things to make it seem as though I was something I was not, or I was part of a situation that was not what I hyped it up to be. And this was all because of the self-image that I wanted for myself, the way I wanted to see myself, or the way I wanted others to see me. And it's this fabrication of nothingness. Like there's no logical reason why you should say something about yourself or about a situation or anything in regards to yourself that is outlandish. It does nothing for you. It does nothing for I could say it does nothing for other people more so than you. Maybe you make yourself feel some sort of way. I know before, if I've done it, if I've boasted myself up and put myself in a situation where I say something and, oh, I feel good about the way that someone reacted to me hyping myself up, or I feel good about the way that I hyped myself up. Like there's a bunch of different situations, like friends, making you feel good about the way you are when you're probably a shit person, or you've done things to other people that probably weren't that great. And you should think about those things, because it's something that can affect others and definitely can mess with your mental health. It's super important. Definitely think it's super important. Building on invalids. So there are a lot of small things that I think when you have an ego, or when you have this persona that is so mortifying that you don't pay attention to the little things, and you build yourself on certainties about yourself. You let things go to the wayside that are more important than your self-image. And this all plays into my next point, which is how this can stop you from growing as a person. And ultimately, I believe your growth, your ability to network with people, to be relatable, to just be a wholesome experience in not only your life, but someone else's life, is solely dependent on your ability to drop the persona and just humble yourself out enough to connect with someone. There's no growth in building on invalids and being certain about yourself and certain about like certain aspects about you that if you honestly were realistic with yourself, it's just not it's not real. It's not real. It's taken a while for me to build up a following on any platform that I'm on. And the only thing I'm constantly learning is that it's super simple and super easy to just fall into this hole of, oh, I have subscribers. Oh, I have Instagram followers. Oh, I have people who like my content on Facebook. And when you get this mindset, and when in whatever field you're in, when you get this mindset where you're like, I got something going for me, which you may have, which is great, don't ever think that's not a good thing, but you also have to have some humility in you and be like, okay, but there's more here. There's more to this. This is not, no part of me should think that this is it. Like, I'm hot shit. I don't need, people want to work with me now. I have to do this. Like, people need each other just as much as you need yourself. I feel like that's kind of loopish, but I'll try to better explain that. If you build this wall around yourself and you make yourself so impenetrable that you don't allow people under you or maybe even over you to get in and be a resource to you, or you be a resource to them, how do you think that people are going to see your content? People are going to listen to your music? People are going to watch your show? Like, how? And this is something that I struggle with sometimes, but as I'm opening up about it, as I talk to other people about it, other content creators, other people who are just interested in making anything, whether they share it on the internet or not, I think that it's important to open yourself up to other people and share yourself honestly with someone else, so that way you are a resource to them and they can be a resource to you. You put a wall up and you make this persona of yourself and nothing gets done. You're pretty much just telling people that you think you have all the answers, and it's such a network killer. Like from anything I've seen, and I've actually done this to myself a few times, and I don't want to say I regret it because there are lessons learned. It's just, you can do better, and I know I can do better because there are a lot of instances in which I feel I could do better, and I'm doing better constantly, consistently. It's something that we all need to work on. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you have it all together, and then it's great. I'm super happy for you, but not me. I'm still figuring it out. Okay, what's the next point? I'm kind of I'm scribbling all on this. Okay, so this part was fooling yourself. If you're playing into telling yourself the lie, if you're playing into the idea that you've done all these great things, and maybe you have done things and worked to a point to where you can be proud of yourself, and there's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in the things you do and what you accomplish at all. So please don't be confused with me talking about ego and me saying that you probably shouldn't ever be proud of yourself, because that's not the case. But if you're, I wouldn't even know what the perfect example would be, but maybe there are instances in your life where, say me, for example, I can put myself in a scenario where I think that I have done everything that I could do. So I go to the gym and I work out, and mentally I'm having an argument with myself, and I'm saying, okay, I can't do any more because I want to get out of the gym, and I know I could probably do a few more sets, but I don't want to be in the gym anymore, and I half-ass it up into that point. And then I get out of the gym, and then someone asks me, what did you work out on? And I huff and puff, and I make this big deal about how I was blowing it and just killing it in the gym, and I'm just dead tired. What does that person benefit from that story? And then what do I benefit from telling myself that I did more than I actually did? If anything, looking back on this conversation that I'm having currently, it's like, it's a regret. Like, it's like I pretty much bullshitted, and I didn't do what I needed to do, and now I'm trying to make it seem like I'm more than what I actually am, which is hurting me more than me just taking the time to be like, man, I sucked today. Wasn't my best day, but I'm gonna reattack it tomorrow. I went. I can at least say, I went to the gym. I got what I needed to do done, and that's the most important part. But telling the lie and fooling myself into believing I maybe did more, I believe hurts me. And if you've done something like that too, hurts yourself so much more than just humbling it out and just being honest about it. Do the honest thing. Becoming the best version of yourself, which plays into this. This was the last part. I've been talking for like 12 minutes, so I believe, and I know there are a lot of, there are people on the internet that are much more professional about this kind of topic than me. And these are just some of my sporadic thoughts on the subject, but I believe if you silence your ego and you control honestly the way you think about yourself and the way you handle yourself and your internal conversation, I believe if you can control that, you will constantly do things that put you in a perpetual state of growth. When you can wholeheartedly be proud of yourself, but be humble and have the humility to, own up to your mistakes, your downfalls, all these things that make you human. When you can own up to these things and not put yourself on some glass pedestal that is almost most of the time entirely transparent. Like, it's not hard to see when someone is hyping themselves up. At least say you've been around someone long enough and you've observed the things they do, you can kind of tell when someone is like putting themselves in a position where they're not even ready to accept those roles and responsibilities. It's evident. Sometimes it's evident in like my profession. It's evident at work. It's evident with your friends, some musicians, some artists, things like that. And at a point, even having this conversation now, it's humbling because admitting it and bringing it into the discussion in itself makes you think, okay, maybe I was full of shit, or whatever the case may. Maybe I can do this better. I can work better on this. I can make this happen. I can probably go back and revisit this conversation with this person and have a heart-to-heart and make some progress, as opposed to making them feel like they did me wrong or I did them wrong or anything. Like, I can do this better. because I wasn't doing my best, or I wasn't at that standard that I told everyone or even myself that I was at. Yeah. And I think once you key in on those things and you start focusing on the other things, the little things that the things that you kind of throw to the side, I think once you zone in on those, you start to create a almost mirror image of who you actually are, as opposed to masquerading something that you're not. And that's it. I kind of just wanted to talk about that because, I needed to post a video this week and it was super on my mind. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.